What is one thing that you ought to always be experimenting with when you're out bass fishing? Wow! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. 9/11, September 11. That's right. The most infamous day, I guess, in American history where our homeland, our very homeland was attacked viciously by terrorists. Almost 3,000 people died that day. I was at the World Trade Center just within the last several weeks, and it was an experience just to be there and go down below to Ground Zero where that all happened, and to read the names, to touch the names out on the water areas out there where they have every person's name there, to see the flowers because it was some of those people's birthday the day that I was there. It just sort of really got to you and got you right down inside of you in your heart that so many Americans lost their life right here on the homeland. Our country was attacked. Our country was attacked by terrorists and very successfully, extremely successfully. And the deal is, it's 20 years later. It's 20 years later, and you know, they thought that if they hit us hard in our financial areas, that it would wreck America, and it didn't. We're still back. We're still back. Now, as y'all are listening to this video or watching this video this morning, I'm going to be on an airplane. I am on an airplane, as you're watching most likely, somewhere between Nashville and Atlanta on a Delta airplane, or between Atlanta and Oklahoma City. I'll be back in Oklahoma City tonight, and I will be back in McAllister, Oklahoma tonight. As a matter of fact, we'll be back in Oklahoma City this afternoon, in McAllister tonight at a big church event, though. So if you're anywhere around near McAllister, come and visit that event. I'm sure it's going to be a great event. We're going to have a lot of food. I know, because church events have a lot of food. That's one reason I love to do them. Great people always at these church events. But back to the situation about 9/11. You know, the amazing thing is we are still the most powerful country in the world. Some people would debate that right now. That's what's going on right now in the world. But we are still extremely powerful. We're still a great country. We're still a country where millions of people want to come and live. So with whatever problems we may have politically, we're still a fantastic country. And back when 9/11 happened, we didn't know if that was going to happen the next day and the next day and the next day. I was scheduled to fly the next day to Albany, New York, of all places. And of course, all the airlines were canceled for a few days. But the most dramatic thing about that whole deal is my fishing buddy, George W. Bush, was president of the United States. And I've been fishing with George W. since way back before he was governor of Texas, let alone the president of the United States. I met George W. when his daddy was vice president under Ronald Reagan. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, of all places to meet a future president of the United States. And we've been friends ever since. And he's a great man. And he set his entire life and his entire presidency on one premise: to keep America from being attacked again. And he did. And president after president after president has followed through on that suit. And America has not been attacked in 20 years. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I'm telling you, 9/11 is a historic day. And to think of the millions of people in our country that were born before 9/11, before 2001. They're 20 years old now, and they didn't have to experience that. And but never forget it. Never forget it. No matter how old you are, never forget September 11th, 2001, where the terrorists attacked and killed nearly 3,000 Americans. It's a dramatic day. And you know, I've flown on several September 11th, and flying on the 20th anniversary is going to be especially. Well, I don't know exactly the word to use in there. It'll be foremost on my mind. It'll be something you're thinking about in your conscious the entire time you're on that airplane. That when I go to that airport in Nashville, and then fly to Atlanta and then to Oklahoma City, 9/11 is such an important day. Well, let's look and see what our scripture is for 9/11. We're looking at Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes was written by King Solomon, of course, and he said, "This is a good one for today. They should eat and drink and enjoy their work, because the life God has given them on earth is very short." We're not here a long time. You know, I'm 77 years old, so I've been here a long time, longer than most of you, I'm sure. And I plan on being here for another 15 or 20 years, but that's a short period of time. 77 years is a short period of time. Tim McGraw sings a country song about finding out that you have terminal illness. Some of y'all have been there, I know, because you've told me so, and that you've been told you had terminal illness by the doctor, but God said you didn't, and God cured you of that terminal illness. One of the things that the lyrics tell you to do is to take more time to go fishing. That's right. Take more time to go fishing. If you feel like that you'd have a very few amount of days left on this earth, a very few amount of months or years, go fishing. Go fishing. The moral of the song is to live like you are dying. To live like you're dying. I know when you're 18, 20 years old, you're bulletproof, you think you'll never die. You know you will, but it's not going to happen until 100 years from now. But to live every day like you're dying. As I grow older, it makes more and more sense to me to make every day, every single day, special. On September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 lives ended unexpectedly. I often wonder what each person did the weekend before. How many were saved? And how many are in heaven? How many were lost and will spend eternity in hell? God tells us to enjoy life, to enjoy our work, and by golly, to enjoy one another. He knows that we'll have problems, yet God warns that life is short and to make the most of it, That's what King Solomon's writing here in Ecclesiastes, to make the most of it. So get out there today and make today special for you and special for those that are around you. September 11, 9/11, 20 years ago today. That's amazing. Here's our tip for today, guys and girls. Always experiment with lure speeds, changing your speeds. That's something you need to be experimenting no matter what bait you're throwing. Topwater, crankbaits, rattle baits, worms, jigs, doesn't matter. Experiment with the speed. Sometimes speed is a critical thing in catching fish and not catching fish. Sometimes you want it real fast. Sometimes you want it real slow. Sometimes somewhere in between. And the only way to really find out is to experiment with the speed. Pay attention to what speed you're bringing that lure back to your boat in or back to the bank in. And when you get a bite, then you want to duplicate that speed over again. So, guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. If you're anywhere around McAllister, Oklahoma tonight, come see us over there. It's going to be a great event. A lot of great Oklahomans right there. So come and see us. And remember,